Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back
Allow
to
me.
Big Derf Gaming. It's Big Derf. We're playing Torment still. Um, Last
In
time
this world, then.
we pressed tab, saw there was an interactable here, and at an event later, we got a new party member, Rin. Yeah, this place does not stop messing around. Now,
Allow me.
I haven't yet found somebody else in this place to help this stick us down here, but hold on. What are you talking about? Ah, okay. You're not actually interactable. But now that we have, maybe Rin has some sort of solution for this guy. Nope. Maybe if I, where'd she go?
Yes.
Oh, there she is. What if I talk to her
What's going on?
specifically? How you hold it up? I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't come along and saved me. I don't think I'd be alive anymore. I think about that a lot. I don't know how to thank you for it. It's sometimes too big to just thank someone for. It's something, sometimes. She watches you patiently. What's your story? You know some of it, maybe as much as I do. What do you want to know? Where are you from? It's a better place than this. It's safe and warm, and it's a long, long way from here. Looks like she's lost in thought. Then she starts talking again. There are a lot of trees there. It's full of growing things, and a little village with a tall wall to keep bad things away. And I have parents there. Shakes her head a bit and turns her focus back to you. That's where I belong. That's my home. I have parents there. I'm not an orphan. Sounds like a lovely town. What's it called? She smiles, opens her mouth to answer. A panicked expression flashes across her face for a moment. Her eyes dart back and forth before she puts one hand to her injured head. It's Baranth. She looks up her tiny face grave. Yes, it's called Baranth, my village, my home. That's where my parents are. I'm starting to... early thoughts. Her background is bullshit. You're so far away. Why do you speak the same language as everyone here? I don't know. I guess I could also wonder why you all speak my language. The thugs you were hiding from. They seemed to know you were in the building but couldn't find you. Why? She grins. Her sudden smile is like the sun coming out from behind a cloud. We're good at hiding, she says. Did you say we are good at hiding? Spoiler from the last episode if you saw the highlight of her. A flash of panic crosses her face. Me, she says, too quickly. Then she sighs and pulls something from her pocket. It's a small dark stone with a hole in it. She's outside your arm's reach, but still holds it close to her chest protectively. This is all. He keeps me safe. He knows everything of hiding. As she speaks, you realize something you hadn't noticed before. You aren't getting any thoughts from her at all. Doesn't feel as though you're being blocked, though. Perhaps why you didn't notice it until now. Either her thoughts are hidden somewhere, or she just doesn't have any you can read on the surface. See? Her mind, not her own. Why can't I read your mind? I'm super forward about this. She takes 2 steps away. You can read minds? You're trying to read my mind? That's how I expect everybody to react. This is the first person to react this way. This is almost insulting. This is also definitely insulting. This is just, I'm just gonna act like it's normal. Yes, but I can't do it. Read
Can
anything.
we please stop and rest for a bit?
Why?
I need to talk to you.
Why would you be doing that to me? I'm talking to you now. Weird trigger. Yeah. I'm gonna go with you hear people's voices whether you want to or not. For me, their thoughts are the same because it's the least offensive thing. This is a little girl. I'm gonna try to be nice. Oh, I didn't realize. It's still pretty invasive. I wish you didn't have to hear it. Sometimes I don't like it, but it also helps me to understand people. Once again, trying to be nice. Well, it's not a good thing. You have to know that. It's like eavesdropping, but it's worse than that because it's more private than a regular conversation. What happens in your head is just for you. It's a conversation a person's having with just themselves. Nothing's more private than that. He hesitates, then continues in a soft voice. When a god is strong enough to see in someone's mind, then it's decided that the god might be too dangerous. It's a bad... Breaks off suddenly, then reaches into her pocket and pulls out her stone. She stares at it with the vacant expression she gets sometimes, then speaks directly to the stone. I haven't been keeping it from you, Al. There's a lot of things I've never told you. It's something I've never... Another pause, her face grows increasingly confused. Everyone knows, Al. Sometimes a god does bad. It goes bad. When that happens, she breaks off. Head cocked to one side, her face growing concerned. I'm sorry to interrupt, but can we just go back to my question? Because it's... oh no, I can continue listening. I read the 2 insults and went to go here, but I want to listen. I like this game offers continue listening. This is like the second time I've seen it, and it's nice. That's my general status in life. Wait, let me hear more. Well, she says, if a god can move by itself, that's a big one. If it argues constantly with other gods or refuses to talk at all, those are signs that... She stops again listening. Then you're supposed to take it to the... I can't remember their name. The God Fixers? Rin rubs her forehead with her free hand. I can't remember what they're called. She looks up, her face worried. Oh, I'm sorry. We can talk about this later, Al. I'm being rude. She puts the stone back into her pocket and it blinks a little as if to clear her head. I don't know why you can't get into my head. Maybe kids' brains are different? Maybe it's just my brain. Maybe that sort of thing doesn't work on people where I'm from. I really don't know. Could it be all? I'm gonna not be insulting about this rock because it's a crazy universe. Like, it's not the same universe, but you know, Minsk and Boo, stand ready, man. She looks surprised at this suggestion, then gives it one of the widest smiles you've ever seen. She reaches into her pocket again, brings out the stone and holds it in front of her face. Is it true, Al? Are you keeping my thoughts hidden? She pauses, head cocked to her side. Then she laughs and gives the stone a kiss. She looks up at you. You're right, he's the one that's doing it, and I'm glad. What's in a person's head is private. You shouldn't go prying into it. That's not what friends do. See, I don't quite believe that that's what's going on, because like I said, I didn't think it was being blocked, but... Ask a few questions about him? She brings up the stone to her ear and cocks her head a bit. Then she looks up at you with gives a slightly anxious nod. Alright, he's fine with a few questions. A few. How'd you meet your rock? Oh. He's not a rock, he's a stone. That was hella racist of me. Damn. Fine, stone. But she shakes her head. No, I'm talking to Al. He's in the stone. He's a god. He lives inside the stone. Oh. Okay, I can work with that. Has Al always been in the stone? He's a very young god. Older gods have usually lived in many bodies. This tracks. What? How old is he? Only a couple of weeks old. He's so strong for her. She breaks off and looks down at her hand. You don't need to be embarrassed. She looks up at you and grins again, then says in a stage whisper, he's embarrassed. A stage whisper is a loud whisper, right? Because you're on stage and people need to hear it. I didn't know. I'm not sure. Okay. What does it mean that he's a god? That's a hard question. Where I'm from, there are many gods. Gods of health and hearth and home. Gods of road and Rome. Where I'm from, it's a poor family that has no gods of their own. She looks down at the stone in her hand, speaking softly. But here there are no gods. It's like finding a place where people don't know what meat is or air. How do you explain something like that? And I haven't seen a single god except for All himself, and he's mine. He simply is. He is my friend. She trails off, looking down at the stone in her hand. Did you bring all of them with you? No, She breaks off suddenly, a hand tightening around the stone. Then she starts again. Yes, I suppose I did bring him with me. I found him near a stream he's been carrying around in my pocket for years. You said all was a couple of weeks old, but that you've had him for years? What's it? Is it? She opens her mouth, then closes again. She's quiet for a moment, then says, All doesn't want me to talk about this anymore. I don't want to say... This feels like I'm accusing her of being crazy, and I just want to be like, no, I'm just trying to help. So I'm still going to go with this one because I'm trying to help. Because I'm actively trying to help. It's more than this. I want to make sure you're alright, Ren. Her laugh has no humor to it. Of course I'm alright. Why wouldn't I be? I'm far from home. I have stitches where hair should be. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. Even that man who's scared of his own, what do you call it, Levy? Even he thought I was crazy. Puts a hand to her head wound and squeezes her eyes shut. I don't want to ask this, but I don't want to not ask it either. She looks up at you and she opens her eyes and looks up at you, innocent and pleading. You don't think I'm wrong in the head? No. I like this line. I don't want to, but I feel like is the dotted line be getting cut off, or I'm gonna go with this. I don't know what to believe in. Your stories don't match. If you're not lying, then of course I'm not lying. I just. So you think something is wrong with me? No, that's not what I meant. I'm only trying to make sense of what happened to you. She wraps her arms around herself and shivers in the warm air. Me too, she mutters. Where you come from, does everyone have gods they carry around with them? Shakes her head. No. Usually the gods stay in a family's home. They give advice. They help with things. Must be comforting having something from home with you. She nods, absently running her thumb over the smooth surface of the stone. So the stone is like his body, or is it like his house? It's a little like both. It's easier for him to leave than a body, but it's harder to leave than a house. But either way, the stone isn't really him. It's a little like a cup, too? Does that make sense? Whoa. I think this is it. I think I get it. It's like how a cup holds water. The water is shaped like the cup, but the water is not the same as the cup. Her face lights up in excitement. Yes, that's it exactly. The water might even taste a little like the cup if the cup is made of tin. Or it might taste a little like whatever was in the cup before. But you can pour it somewhere else and it's still the same water. Almost the same water. Mostly the same. Huh. What kind of things do gods help us? Well, gods, you see, they're old, so they know a lot of things because they've been around a long time. They'll tell you what they need to know sometimes. Give you advice. Sometimes they just listen if you need to talk. Sometimes that's all you really need. That he was a god of hiding. Is that more than advice? She nods. Without noticing, lifts up the hand with the stone in it so that she's holding it close to her heart. Some gods can help with more than words. All knows everything of hiding, of being small and silent. He helps me hide. He makes it so no one can find me. He keeps me safe. I want to ask something about yourself again. Okay, let's talk about... How did you get here? You don't know. I can't remember. I remember running into fire, but it wasn't the right color for a fire. I don't know. Then I remember being here, nothing making sense anymore. How long have you been here? Or away, but same question. She scratches her neck thoughtfully. Only a few weeks, I think? She touches the side of her head lightly with her fingertips. It's hard to remember. When I got hurt, I don't remember the time around then very well. Think your parents would be looking for you? She looks thunderstruck, as if she never thought had ever occurred to her before. When she finally speaks, her tone is flat, almost numb. And it's clear that she's talking to herself as much as she's talking to you. They know I'm safe. They can't be here. They have to be safe at home. Rin brings her hands to her mouth slowly, her eyes terrified and oddly flat, almost glazed. She turns away from you, speaking to something in her hand, her voice too soft for you to hear. She continues like that a long time, worried and muttering. You realize she's forgotten you were even there. Whispers.
I'm sorry about last time. I know we didn't finish our conversation. I offer apologies for my rudeness.
Clasps her hands in front of her and bows slightly. Are you okay to talk a little more? She nods and gives you a tired smile. Yes, it's just been... I'm not used to talking to anyone except all about these things. It's harder than I thought it would be, but yes, let's talk. How are you holding up? Before I met you, I asked All if he could bring me someone to help. I know, it's embarrassing. He's not the right sort of god for that, but then you came, and you're even better than anything a god would bring me. I want to talk about you again. Alright. Talk about all again. No, ask. Alright. There's nothing new to ask. Or about the people. I guess we could ask about the people. Look at Calistege. I don't know. I don't like the way they look at me like they want something. Come now, child. Look at my sisters possibly want from you. I don't know. Hair, blood, fingertails, my dying breath caught in a bottle. Calistege rolls her eyes. Children have such imaginations. Can't have that either, Rin replied. What do you think of Eridus? He smiles. He makes me laugh, but I can't tell when he's being serious. Is he ever being serious? I hope not, he says, looking shocked. Rin giggles against the back of her hand. That's all for now.
Of course.
I guess we'll move along for now. Okay. Let's look at the map one more time. We went all over here, we went to there, we went everywhere. Nobody could help this Stickus, but that's what the journal options give me, right? Eyes the adversary? No. Never found that either. What about this one? Loss of self is one of the affected women. I should return to how do I return to the labyrinth? I asked... The other stick might be convinced for digging escape tunnel. I can find the other stick in Underbelly. Of course, there might be other ways to sneak this creature out of the district as well. Maybe it'll be something later then. People didn't want to talk about her. Steal eggs, not really trying to do that. This is what I'm trying to do because it's related to this, but I gotta get out of this freaking place first. And okay, I don't know how to get back to the labyrinth correct yet. Okay, so the plan currently.
Really?
We go back to kind of Versailles so we can take a nap, get back all these spend points because we spent a lot of them, and then we will see about what happens next. Rin, you were slow. Is she shorter than us? Yep. She is actively gonna just be slower all the damn time. That is just unfortunate. The Gold tide represents charity, sacrifice, and empathy. It's the tide to people whose primary goal is to help others, especially at a cost to themselves. I'm nice, but I'm not like at a cost to myself nice. And now these expensive tables expensive are being easily flipped, dragged, and moved. Given the location, this is probably a good thing. Yeah. Okay, let's this guy has a name. Let's talk to him. This man's brow is creased with worry. He avoids your gaze, eyes fixed on a point to your left and far away. My left and far away. So like over here? His trembling, battered fingers pluck the air. He stares through the chattering customers at the bar as though he's utterly alone. Stepping closer, you see a thick blue crease running down his throat into the depths of his heavy robes. An orderly rows of azure holes pierce his bony arms from elbow to wrist. Why is he blue? Discord, he says as you approach. Scarred melody, too many voices. Hearts. His words stream out one by one in a subdued and continuous monotone, tumbling over each other in a blind rush to escape. Study the man. He does not meet your eyes as you step closer to examine him. Instead, he withers as though your presence is somehow painful to him. You watch him move and track the twitching of his fingertips. You hear a low, vibrating whistle, though it's not coming from his mouth. What are you doing here? Wayfarers bring me broken Numenera. I repair them for pay. I need to eat. He cries. And you don't think you're the target of his anger? The wayfarers thank me, he says, swallowing. They do not know I have remade their Numenera. They do not know they will also be remade. All will be remade when the choir awakens. Can you remake any of mine? Instead of asking to see your belongings, he looks for you at the first time. His pupils are dark as the space between the stars. No, he says, after a long moment. His eyes flick back to whatever distant, terrible place has so captures his attention. You're wounded, a broken instrument. He has no use for you. You're even looking at my belongings. Do I have anything you can remake? I know clearly he's doing something else with the instruments, but I'm gonna find out what. No, you are worthy, but broken. This time he does not look at you. What are you staring at? The grand hall. Spiral pinned by broken columns, the invisible roof. He stops with a gasp, and a tear rolls down his dirty cheek. He tells me not to share our secrets with you. You are not of the choir, you are discord. A cold wind coils from the rooftop, flicking at his tattered robes. His thoughts say he must not speak of a car. Car? What does that mean? You may as well slap the man. White with shock, he doubles over, clutching at his chest. Beneath the man's agony, you sense otherworldly indignation and ageless despair, deep as oceans. The great Akar was once the mightiest of cities, and it will rise once more when the choir awakens. His gaze meets yours. The conductor will reward your curiosity and allow me to tell you what I have seen. You need to only ask. Well, hell yeah, what have you seen? Before my becoming, I found a pit ringed by stone deep in the Arvin wood. Broken pillars at the edges. I stepped inside, breathed the dusty air. He pauses, passing his shaking hand over his mouth. I was lost in the grand hall for days, decades? Pillars twisting like hallways, spiraling. The ringing of bells, whirling chandeliers. Listening to the song of the lost choir. I was an audience, becoming an instrument. Finally I slept, and I woke here upon the heights. He took my voice, the man says, his eyes dull and distant, but my blood sings. I am becoming. I dream. I will remake Numenera for wayfarers so they will become and dream as well. And together we will go into the forest to ring where the grand hall once stood and rebuild. His eyes fall silent. He falls silent, eyes wet and wide, as if dreaming of the city that lives in his mind. What do you think you're becoming? An instrument, a doorway. Before I remade Numenera, now I wake and find devices the conductor has made for me. He is generous. Look, he says, smiling and pulling aside his robes to bare his bony flesh. Countless devices are embedded in his flesh, looping bloodlessly in and out of his ribs, linked by tubes or wire to an opalescent sphere at the base of his throat. So that you dream, what of? Proud Akar at his peak, he says, gaze locked in the distant ruins of the city. Instruments of metal and flesh ringing in the balconies of the great hall. The conductor, our air, breathing him in forever. Okay. You're cool.
Yes.
I wish I could do more with you. Sylph. This pretty young woman stands unnaturally still. Suddenly her large glassy eyes spring to life with a rattle and quickly lock with yours. Before, just as quickly snapping away. Her skin, as fair as porcelain, is cracked beneath several layers of dirt and faded makeup. And on the side of her neck, she appears to be a small tattoo of vertical lines with glyphs etched at the bottom. For a moment, familiarity overwhelms you, disappearing as a minute shudder runs down her arms. Her gaze snaps back to your face, but not to your eyes. She's staring at your tattoo. Jerkily, her hand rises to touch her own. Well met, I am called Sylph. You notice a slight pause where she pronounces her name. Her voice has a purring quality under which you can hear the spinning of countless gears. She coughs just once, and a small greenish cloud emerges from between her lips. How did you come by that mark? Scan thoughts. It's him, or is... Try to remember where you've seen Sylph's tattoo before. Anamnesis. You hear an echo of yourself and see in front of you a strange old man. Gnarled by time and rabid with expectation. On his neck, weathered and sagging, you see the same series of vertical lines into his skin. A faded map to a time or place that no longer exists. An inadmissible period of time has elapsed without answer. Conclusion. I will rephrase the question. He says as the memory fades. How did you come to have those marks upon your skin? The usual way. I think you know. Oh, there are many ways that may be usual. Her throat works for a few moments before she opens her mouth, exhaling a wisp of green gas. The purpose is to be enigmatic, understood. She regards you, head tilting to the side with a series of small ratcheting noises. You have the absurd impression that the motion is meant to be flirtatious. I hope you'll answer another question for me. I have a riddle that may please you to answer, she says, brushing her hair coquettishly back from her bare shoulders. It's very old. She pauses a moment, then recites from memory. What comes in with breath and out with a word transmutes upon death, but cannot be conferred. The word sounds vaguely familiar, resonating in your mind even after she stops speaking. Old. Ha, it's what you've done for centuries. You told me. I remember where I've heard the riddle before. Anamnesis. You listen again to her words. You feel the echo and weight of them moving in your mind. You see Sylph carved in the robes of an Aeon priest, her face in shadow. When the riddle comes, it's your voice, not hers, and the rhyme is different. Ha! She doesn't actually remember it properly, which is just amazing. It's amazing. I love the writing in this game. It arrives with first breath and leaves with each word, transfigured by death, unless it's conferred. In your mind, Sylph replies in a deeper, melodious tone. Consciousness. It isn't until you search from memory to find Sylph staring at you that you realize you spoke the word aloud. Her head tilts from side to side as if weighing your answer in each ear. Very good, she says, her neck clicking back to neutral. I have one last question to ask of you. You may not have an answer. She looks beyond you, remaining still for some moments where the gears inside her stomach clatter and whir. Then she meets your gaze again and asks her question. What would you do if you met someone who had succeeded at your life's work before you, and they refused to share their method? Probably talking about something I did in a past life, right? Find my own method. Carve my own path. That would doubtless be difficult. The darkness behind her eyes whirs with glints of metal as her pupils dilate fully. They snap back to normal and she bows slightly. I wish you luck in your endeavor. I have no more questions for you. Where do I remember her from? I have no points. Shit, and I can't. Shit. Okay. Oh! I'm a genius. Success. An image appears in your mind of Sylph standing demurely beside a richly clothed man who gestures at you impatiently. Sure, she's old, but she can still work. Still got the machine intelligence of hers running along nicely, unlike some others. If you're lonely, she'll keep you company. If you're not, she'll keep quiet, won't you? He turns his piercing gaze on Sylph, who nods. A sharp edge of disappointment. You recall walking away from Sylph when she was offered to you, a sneering man in dark robes who had already made an offer. His presence overwhelms the memory with a sudden understanding of who and what stands in front of you. Eden, an obsessive Aeon priest who made it his personal mission to track the changing god to the end of the world, searching a way to transfer herself into vessels of his choosing. Huh. Impossible to tell how successful the transfer was, or how intertwined their two psyches may have become. Regardless, the two of them are trapped in the same decaying construct with no hope of salvation anytime soon. Eden, are you in there? Slowly she blinks her eyes. One of them fails to reopen completely. I am Sylph. Have you mistaken me for someone else? Eden, I know you're in there. Can you hear me? I'm Sylph, she replies. The Aeon priest's mind seems to have faded into this construct's subconscious. Who knows if it will emerge again. Eden, can you hear me? Okay, we're on replay mode. Farewell. I had more things to ask you. Do I no longer have those options? Nope. I can only call out to Eden, who may or may not be in there. Okay.
Without doubt. On it.
Why are you silver? Okay. Two silver humanoids stand near a small vehicle of indeterminate origin. Their skin has a reflective metallic sheen that makes them both appear to be both part and separate from the scenery around them. As you approach, both of them turn to face you. They have no mouths, and their eyes are fathomless black, reflecting nothing. A name for these creatures rises from memory: Silver Orphans. It may not be the name by which they know themselves, but the name used by the Order of Truth. The Silver Orphans turn to stare at each other for several moments. Then the one on the right gestures at you in a complicated pattern. We seek minds of machines. We seek. You know any? That you can't understand their gestures. You can't hear their thoughts. You mean machine intelligences? Do they indeed, Callistine Meribus? And what will become of those intelligences if they haven't been delivered? The Silver Orphans don't react to her words. They stare at you impassively, as though they can't hear you at all. The one on the left kneels, using a foreshortened finger to trace lines and circles in the dust at your feet. Ripples radiate from a point, first a square, then a human eye, then a recognizable mass of interconnected dots. The Silver Orphan looks up at you, awaiting your reply. Any minds of machines that we may find which was lost. Oh! Oh! Okay. First, I'm going to ask about the purple-haired woman, because these guys are not going to be bound to the same, like, everybody else trying to protect this girl from this guy. I'm just interested. I want to find her and talk to her, get her side. They regard you silently with their wide, utterly black eyes and do not respond. Alright. I'll tell them about Sylph. You draw a crude approximation of Sylph next to the orphan's image, still visible in the dust. It might be your imagination, but when you finish the drawing, the orphan seemed pleased. They turn to stare at each other, and then the one on the right reaches inside itself, its silver hand merging seamlessly with the glistening metal of its torso. An instant later, its hand is whole again, holding an object of peculiar construction. It drops the item into your hand, payment you assume. Glorious. We thank you. Take reward for service. Thermodynamic detonation. Target all in immediate area. Range medium. Deals 15 energy damage to all characters in range. Ooh, there's more in this. I'm going to be right-clicking more of these. The orb contains a chunk of unknown matter, suspended in a decaying web of frozen time. Periodic waves of buzzing heat pulse from within. Another time, then. Alright. We got a thing. We got some cool lore. We're gonna nap. We're gonna call it a day. Hold on. Farewell, 1 second. Airship captain? Also, examinable bed.
Fine.
Interactable. Beside the bed is a handsome, well-made night table with a single drawer. A large open book sits on top of it. Examine the book. The pages of the book are made of thick vellum, and it appears to be an atlas of the region. The book is open to a map that depicts the city of Sagas Cliffs, the Valley of Dead Heroes nearby, a range of mountains to the north, labeled as the Osiphagan Range, and a circular desert farther to the east marked to the Lost Sea. A thin strip of fabric has been placed between the open pages. A second fabric strip marks another place in the book. Let's look at the age. Doesn't seem to be new. Its pages are worn from frequent use, but that's all you can discern. It might be anywhere from 10 to 50 years old. No dates are stamped anywhere. Besides Sagas Cliffs, you only see a few other cities and towns. In the center of the circular desert is a large blue dot labeled the Oasis of Mirage Jolie. And a smaller dot immediately next to it, Jerboa. On the far side of the desert is another city, Harif. On one end of the Valley of Dead Heroes is a dot labeled the Necropolis. It's unclear whether this is a settlement or just a site of interest. Look at the names of the nearby settlements. Besides I just did this one, sorry. Examine the page of the other fabric cliff. Fabric strip. You see another full-page map. This time we're studying a region called the Ugarkala. It seems to be located somewhere to the northwest of Sagas Cliffs, and is defined by a massive ring of mountains labeled as the Clock of Kala. The mountain range is so perfectly round that it was almost certainly engineered by artificial means in the distant past. Several cities and towns dot the landscape, and the largest and most prominent is named Sada Midu. After a few moments, you turn the map back to the Sagas Cliffs region. Let's look at the night table. Open the drawer. Appears to be locked, but you hear something rattling around inside. The noise is faint but constant, as if the object was alive. Let's pick this lock. Okay, I get to 70. She gets to 75. Why? She's got the ditty still. Why? Oh, because I've died. He can use an extra point. And she is trained in quick fingers. We're about to sleep, so we might as well use all of our points. After a bit of effort, you hear a satisfying click and the drawer opens soundlessly.
I'll remember that.
Inside you find a small ornamental comb that looks like a jeweled insect. In fact, it is a jeweled insect. A biomechanical marvel that is very much alive. The pincers seek to fasten themselves upon locks of hair, and its wings allow it to hover around the wearer's head. Several strands of hair are still clutched in the comb's pincers, and they are a vibrant purple. You feel like you've seen this style of biomechanical craftsmanship before. It's very old, probably older than the Ninth World. Oh, it's a quest item. Floating comb and the purple hair match Omadon's description of Persia. It seems like they stayed in this very room and not long ago. So let's see if she'll tell us more now that we've got hey, I've got the proof. I found this hair comb in one of your rooms. You know who it belonged to. I'm afraid now we have so many visitors here. It could have been any of them. How could Persia be so foolish as to leave that here? Said you hadn't seen Persia, but I found this comb in one of your rooms. The hair is purple, just like hers. I'm not trying to be an ass. Takes the comb gingerly, looking embarrassed. Yes, I lied to both you and Omadon, and I'm sorry for it. Perhaps you'll understand when I tell you Persia's story. That's what I'm looking for here. I'm glad I stopped to check that table. We almost ended this episode. I would have taken the nap. We would have never found this. I'd been confused by this for the rest of the damn game. Because she's the only person I talked to that really had any information.
Making a note.
Omadon may believe her to be his one true love, but it's obsession, not love. It's made a monster of him. From what Persia told me, he found her corpse in a sepulchre in the Valley of Dead Heroes. perfectly preserved by ancient science, and fell in love with her beauty. His foolishness might have ended there, except that Omadon had an ancient science of his own, and used it to wake her from death. Holy shit! He seemed to think that this unasked-for resurrection would make him a hero in her eyes, that she would fall instantly in love with him, but she was unnerved by his fervor. She was waiting she did not share his feelings. He wouldn't listen. He saw her discuss as a passing madness. Persia has fled him ever since, but he is relentless. You see now why I helped her? Why I lied to him and you? Obsession is often mistaken for love. The beloved is simply a prize to be won. Love cannot be won through obligation. It must be given freely. He breathes a sigh of relief. I'm glad to hear you say that. What do you intend to do now? I think you're right. I would like to convince him to stop, but I don't know if we can, so I might try to throw him off the scent.
Making a note.
An excellent idea, she says. 2 airships recently left for Harif and Sada Imidu. Persia was not on either of them, and both those cities are very far away. Omadon will lose weeks of travel time, and he may never find her trail again. Where is she actually going? Sorry. The less people know that, the better. I'm going to try to persuade, because, like, I want to know. Travis made you a great judge of character. Are those powers telling you that you cannot trust me? Ooh. She has to save the intellect. She's got edge. So I might as well use Rin. Oh, come on, Rin. Gives you a search on the shakes her head. I do trust you, but why burden yourself something you don't need to know? I won't tell you. Are you sure you won't tell me where she's going? Retry cost. Cool. Whew. She gives you a search on the size. I do trust you. I just hope I don't live to regret it. She has returned to the Valley of Dead Heroes, the place where Omadon raised her from the dead. Okay, cool. Now, I'm not going to tell him where she is. I am sending him on one of the airships. Just screw this guy. I want to just... First, I'm going to start with confronting him. Heard a different story. Heard he fell in love with her corpse and somehow restored her to life. Did Tranquility tell you this? Well, she lies. Percy was not dead. She was made inanimate by ancient technology and merely used other technologies to awaken her from a long slumber. Your story about meeting Percy is nothing like the one you told me before. You said you were mourning at the same grave. Can you blame me for telling a tale? Small-minded people would focus so much on the resurrection, not the love that was born of it. People are happy to say love conquers all to each other all day long, but break what they naively call the laws of nature to achieve it, and they come after you with sticks. Tell me the truth. Did you wake Persia for sleep, or did you resurrect her? The distinction is more subtle than you might think. Some of the prior worlds made no such distinction at all. He waves a hand, but that isn't important. What is important that we love each other, and I must get her back. Scan thoughts. Honestly, I have no idea. You're the reason she's on the run. She hates and fears you. Hates me? She's hardly given me a chance. I gave her life. She should be grateful. Instead, she runs like I'm some monster. If she doesn't love you, then you should believe her. Do the right thing, let her go. I am doing the right thing. I love her. How can love be wrong? You don't know her like I know her. Nobody does. Let's try persuasion. The Persia of your dreams doesn't exist. You're just crazy. Hey! Success. For a long moment, Omadon looks like he's about to punch you, but then he turns away. You're right, my Persia was the one who slept. The one who woke was a stranger to me, and I've tortured both her and myself by trying to force her reality to match my fantasy. I've been a fool and worse a villain. She will not see me again.
Updated my journal.
Hey! We accomplished a quest. We got like a full-on quest accomplished. We leveled up? Did we level up? Tell me we leveled up. We leveled up. Now that is the end of episode closer, my friends. Let's do it. Spend your experience points by clicking the plus button. Choose between 4 advancement steps. When you gain all 4 steps, you will increase your tier, unlocking a new section of abilities and other bonus. Oh. Like one of the following options to spend your experience points. You select each option once per tier. Ah, XP purchase advancement steps. Every 4th advancement step person next tier. Okay. Okay. I'm understanding this. So what do I want first? I don't need extra effort, actually. Ability. No, go back. Cancel. I can get edge. Increases 2 stat points. Now I want extra effort first. This is 3 points of effort is seems very strong. That's what we'll take. Perfect. That is the end of episode. So we got a level up or a tier up. No, an advancement level in a tier. So we're still first tier, but we've advanced. Now we're gonna sleep. We're gonna fill up all of our stuff.
And you will have gotten very
like a room for the night.
Way there.
Price is 20 cents per person. I can't afford to. So I can throw it rest later. I convinced Abaddon to give up looking for Persia. That's wonderful news. You've done her a great service. Can I get a room now? Damn. Can you put me into a trance with your calming abilities? No one's ever asked me for something like this before, and normally I would refuse for fear of some complication, and perhaps retaliation for that. But I sense a certain affinity between us, a kindness we share. I don't think any harm will come of it. If you feel it will help you, I will do it. Now take my hand and close your eyes. I just wanted a nap. I'm just the second time I've tried to end the episode and then not worked out. Should have just ended it. Why did I just end it? As you take her hand, a scent like baking bread and honey overwhelms you, and she begins to sing in a soft but resonant contralto. The melody fills your head, making it heavy with slumber, so your chin drops to your chest. You feel like you're being lowered gently into a warm bath. The water closes over your head, but there's no fear of drowning. You've returned to the womb, where all is comforting darkness and the steady pulse of a beating heart. Hey! Well, I can't sleep. I can get back here. And I found my way back into the labyrinth. Perfect. Next time on Torment. Where'd he go? Screw you, Spectre. Next time on Torment, we're gonna talk to the lady that lives up here. About the lady we found back in the other place, and we'll probably be right on our way towards finishing another quest. But yeah, so that'll be another episode tomorrow or whatnot. Like, subscribe, share, all that jazz if you're enjoying yourself. And until next time, have a great life, folks. Peace.